The Geronimo and Gonzolaz show, exposing the truth wherever we go. The GG Podcast News Edition, beating space signals to your kitchen.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Geronimo and Gonzolaz show. I'm here with...
Howdy ho!
Yes, I'm here with Geronimo. We're here together. We're actually not in the same room. We're in different spaces.
Not in the same room. We're in different universes.
Yes.
I'm in Spain. No, I'm not. I'm in London.
Yes.
And this young elk is in Norway.
In Norway, yes.
I'm saying it as if you are in the same room. This young elk here.
The topic for today is Outcast.
It is indeed.
It's kind of a bittersweet moment.
I know, but, it is a bit of a bittersweet moment, isn't it?
I think we've kind of, because we played quite a bit, and I think we've come to the point where we're not gonna explore the game anymore, or we're not gonna actually play it anymore on the channel. Well, you know, everything has to come with an end. I'm always saying, you know, don't milk stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had a little, you know, I'm glad I got to get my hands on a little bit as well, and kind of decided I'll probably continue playing the game. But we won't be doing any of the recording to it anymore. But we thought we'd just discuss a little bit the experience and what we enjoyed about that game.
Yes. Well, as I said many times before, Outcast was one of my favorite games back in the day. It was completely groundbreaking. I don't think there's anything like it that existed in 3D. Like this big open world that you could explore, and then all the NPCs had actual recorded dialogue, which was unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, and the music, which is still today as fantastic as ever.
Yeah, the music's amazing.
So it was a big, like, I still don't understand why, because a lot of people haven't heard of this game, which is why I think not a lot of people actually did anything on YouTube on the remake, because you can find any sort of obscure game and someone will have done videos on it, but nobody was paying too much attention to the remake of Outcast, which I was so excited for because it was my favorite game. It was a big game, and it was cool that it was coming out for the consoles and a new version for the PC.
Ideal situation, really. I mean,
yeah. So I don't know, like, why that game didn't get as much appreciated at the time as it should have been, because everyone, if you see, like, anyone who's actually played it back in the day was like, yeah, that was one of my favorite games of that time. Mind-blowing. And, you know, so obviously some of the design is a bit outdated today, which is natural. It's fine. I'm not criticizing the game for being outdated. So more specifically on the remake, I thought what was clear was that, well, they started a Kickstarter and never didn't actually get the money to get that done, so they managed to get investors in and got it made anyway, which is good on them. The original developers, you know, they clearly loved the game. I really do wish they had a bigger budget, because it was clearly they put a lot of love and work into it, but the remake had some issues. You know, we made fun of the camera. Some of the lip syncing looked weird. I wasn't too keen on the way they did the combat, because that was one of the things they actually changed from the original. So a bit unsure about that. They made some small changes, like making the save crystal save quicker, just, you know, so whatever.
Good thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm also.
I mean, the whole issue was if you could find the fricking thing, then...
Yes, in the... well, on PC, to be fair, on PC, when you played it originally, back in the day, you had a hotkey for it. Which, obviously, with the controller, there's less buttons.
So you say that all the time. You're like, back in the day, originally.
Yes, well, yes, but so it made sense at the time. You didn't have to look in your bag for it. You could just, like, I think it was F12, if I remember correctly. Just press that, and then you picked up the crystal. But yeah, that was an issue. The menu was all over the place. They put in actual UI for, like, how strong the soldiers were, which is a nice touch. That was in the original game, I believe. So yeah, but they did a decent job of translating the game.
Yeah, for sure.
The graphics, you know, obviously there's issues, but overall I thought the graphics looked good. beyond the occasional weird graphical glitches and bugs, which we had a lot of fun with. But I'm sort of like, it doesn't piss me off. I just find it funny. Like The Witcher 3 had a ton of graphical bugs in the beginning.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
You know, whatever.
That's true. Oh yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah.
I mean,
so but I think a lot of the gameplay elements that are in the game still hold up really well. Like the actual questing, the fact that all these Talon, they look exactly the same, but the writing is still pretty good. Like compared to a lot of games, like all the Talon have like their own, like the story is like whatever, but like all the Talon have their like very specific personalities, which actually manages to differentiate them, even though they all look the same.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. That's definitely part of the fun of it.
Yeah.
They've all. I was very shocked. I mean, that just goes to show how good the voice, how good the dialogue was. That you really get this sense of the characters.
Yeah, and it feels like a real world kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, and considering, I think there's obviously been a massive step forward. In the way kind of dialogue is done in video games, I would say, over the years, and I think they did a really good job considering kind of the time that it was done as well. Really quite impressed with that aspect of the game for sure.
Yeah. So beyond like
5 out of 5.
Beyond some of the changes they made, like it was pretty like much exactly the same as it was back in the day. Which I thought, like, you could say, like, they could change this, they could change that, but I think it was good that they kept, you know, the base of the game and then made some small tweaks and changes here and there. Jumping still dodgy as it always was. Jumping was always horrible in that game. Yeah. And it's still horrible in the new game.
Jumping was awful.
So that's kind of fun. Like the sort of detection, like when he will grab something to climb on and when he won't. It's still bad, you know. So like the warts and all comes with the game from the original. But I think it's I saw some of the comments on, you know, the first episode of some people who clearly haven't played the game. Were like, oh, this looks like shit. But it's like, you know, I think like it's good to play old games and appreciate what it did for the medium.
Absolutely.
And like not expect it to be like the last Call of Duty Infinite Warfare 5 or whatever fuck it's called now.
It's such a shitty game in comparison as well.
You know, it's good to go back and play the more archaic games, like, because like, well, it's like the thing, like I've heard the developers talking about like back in like the 90s and early 2000s, they didn't have an idea what they were doing. They were just like, they weren't. You know, they didn't go to like a game design course in uni. There weren't any books on how to design games. They were just like trying out shit.
That's what's so cool about it, though.
And it was like the heyday. I mean, the heyday was like the big developers were pretty much like indie developers today. They were like the big teams were like maybe 30, 40 people.
Mad, isn't
at the most, and a lot of the big games we talk about today, you know. Classics were developed with like 10, 20 people. Like some indie games now, some of the bigger indie games. So you know, it's I think it's useful, both educational but also for appreciating gaming. You know, so that's why I'm glad they didn't change too much from the sort of the game design from the original game, because you can say, oh, this is the way they did it, and even though it's still, you know, outdated, you can still actually enjoy that game because it was really well designed in the first place.
Oh, for sure. There is a definite appreciation for this kind of game by younger generations. Yeah, which is quite shocking to me, and really that comes down to the last, you know, kind of couple of years. You know, 2 to 5 years, where this massive rehash of all the indie stuff and you know, all the consoles now being able to have it wanting to sell more games to people on those apps, and all those indie developers being kind of not given the opportunity is the wrong word, but being given a platform to push that stuff on, has kind of, you know, allowed those younger generations to get into games that don't necessarily need to have an amazing set of graphics to impress. Or, you know, when we were younger, definitely a part of it was like, oh my god, graphics, because it
It was developing so quickly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was developing so quickly. Whereas now it's kind of like, you know,
like,
it's a bit slower now.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell there's a difference between PlayStation 4 and 3, but like...
Sure, but you don't really care that much. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how much better does it have to get? Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, it'll always be impressive.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
It's never... I think the lesson that's been learnt very quickly is... At the cost of something being fun, nothing's worth it.
No,
and I
exactly.
think the games are just supposed to be fun. So it doesn't matter if it's 3 pixels. If it's fun, it's fun. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So
we don't want tech demos. We want fun games.
Exactly, and there is that crossover where stuff gets so realistic that it becomes boring.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
This is so funny, isn't it? It's just like, but everything we dreamed of as kids was just like to have the best graphics and stuff. But ultimately, it really doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, and I mean there are some games I play, like some old games I play where I'm like, oh, this is not enjoyable anymore. But there are also games where I think like they're far superior to a lot of most games that come out now, even like 20 old games. So like it's different. Like some things age better than others. Some things age horribly, and some things age pretty good.
Exactly, and I think especially with the. Especially with this kind of graphical upgrade and stuff, just updating it enough to kind of make it feel, you know, I mean, part of this next set of consoles and stuff. It works well. They did a good job. Kudos.
Yeah. I think the it was a great, as I consider it to be one of the classics of its time, one of the pinnacles of early PC gaming. But now that's all in the past, and we're looking forward towards Call of Duty Infinite Warframe 6.
Infinite Foreplay.
Infinite Foreplay 6.
Infinite Foreplay.
Call of Duty Infinite Foreplay. Yes, so that's what we're looking forward to. Sequels.
Sequels!
Yay, sequels. That's all we want now.
We
want the new games.
We don't want original content ever.
No. We want stuff that is that we know.
I want rehashed stuff.
Yes, I think
I want.
I bang on this, but then I just gushed about a game that came out long ago and then was re-released.
I know.
But well, the point is like it's all about like I still want developers to make new IPs, but it's also nice when they make sequels. But also, as I've said, I'm very glad that they're not making any more Dark Souls, even though I love that series, because I think now it's done, and now they need to move on to something else.
That's true.
That's true. Like, I love the original Call of Duty. I love that game.
What, you mean like the World War II ones?
Yeah.
Or you mean... Yeah, and Modern Warfare 1 and 2.
And I really like Modern Warfare 4, but at the time I thought, alright, now
4?
Yeah, it was called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Oh, yeah, and Warfare 2 as well.
Yeah. But I remember thinking back on Modern Warfare, the first one, Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, okay, well, maybe they should do something else now.
Yeah.
And look at where it's at now.
I know.
It's like, I remember like I played Assassin's Creed 2 and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, I guess I'm over it now. And just keep pumping them out.
I know.
So it's all with like I don't mind sequels. It's just like when you get to 5, 6, 7, you're like, and remakes are good because it allows you because I couldn't play this game before now. I could have played it if I had a PC. I could have played it on Steam, the original. But that's why. But
would you have?
No. Oh.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Oh yes. Yeah. I mean, I have it. I own it on Steam.
Oh right.
Yeah. I bought it on Steam sale. Yeah. A while back.
Yeah.
So but the point is that I don't know what my point was. But I had a very clever point. But well, the point is, don't overdo it. That's basically the point. Like, it's good to have like it's when every game that's coming out is either a remake or a sequel. That's when I start getting pissy.
I know. It's all about the original IPs can excite.
That's the exciting part. It's like either original IPs or what also makes me exciting is when you take an existing IP but take it in a completely new direction, like this
or Battlefield,
or God of War, the new God of War that's coming out.
Yeah,
which looks so different from the old one. So we'll see. I mean, like, they're doing a big risk, but I think
like fucking Resident Evil 7.
Yes, Resident Evil 7
amazing. Really, they revitalized the whole thing.
Like Resident Evil 4 was a great game. Resident Evil 5 and 6 were bullshit.
Baloney, as I like to call them.
Yeah, and then they were like, fuck, man, we need to sort this shit out. And then they made Resident Evil 7, which was great. So it's like, it's all nuanced. You can't just say, oh, sequels are shit or remakes are shit or like whatever. It's But anyway. We are looking forward. We are not resting on our laurels. We are ever marching forward into the future of gaming.
Indeed.
So yeah, Outcast was really good fun. I enjoyed doing the original Let's Play and then watching you play it.
Yes.
It was a good little journey.
It was a good little journey.
If you watched some of the stuff, then thank you so much. If you watched this, then thank you for watching.
It's been a pleasure as always, and I guess we'll sign it off there. So, leave a like if you enjoyed it, thumbs down if you didn't, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and join us in the next one.
Thank you.
Geronimo and Gonzolaz.